So, hi everyone. Uh, the team OIG is glad to be collaborating with MHAC, the Mental Health Awareness Club, led by Prerna Sonali Shah, Vani, and one more of her team. Uh, Today, they will be presenting to us on negative automatic thought, and our team is glad to have you and collab with you on this day. Looking forward to your session.
Thank you, Azuma. Guys, Azuma is from Own Your Growth, the organization Own Your Growth, and I'm from MHAC, as she has already told, which is a mental health awareness club. And both of us, we are collaborating for this event. So, Azuma, would you like to give a brief about your organization first?
Yeah,
What is
sure.
exactly Own Your Growth?
Yeah, Own Your Growth is a platform for students where we connect students with the field experts and let them learn beyond the classrooms. And we primarily target for students of BNYS, that students who are undergoing bachelors in naturopathic and yogic sciences across India. Yes.
All right, Azuma. Nice to know that. Also, guys, those of you who don't know what is MHAC, so basically, we work to promote mental health awareness in society. We are working since more than a year now, and we took this initiative so that the topic or the concept of mental health, which is kind of a stigmatized topic, especially in India, though it's like emerging, but still it is stigmatized. And so that we could promote awareness and we could talk about these things openly with people, especially with the youth, because it is the future of our country. So with this motive, we started this initiative, and it's been a year that we have been conducting both online and offline workshops. Yeah, and that too for free. The idea behind providing free workshops is that so that more people could join without really the baggage of financial aid or anything. So yeah, that was about the Mental Health Awareness Club. And would anyone like to add anything, or shall I just proceed with today's webinar? Yeah, okay. So about today's webinar, today we are going to talk about negative automatic thoughts. So in this, we would be first talking about what are negative automatic thoughts, what are the types of it, how you can identify these thoughts, and how you can deal with these thoughts, followed by an open discussion or QA session in the end. So if you guys encounter any query or anything during the session, you can type it in the chat box or just write it down and ask us in the end. We would be more than glad to take up all your queries. Again, if there's anyone who is uncomfortable in any language, either Hindi or English, go ahead, because we would be like in both the languages during the session. Also, guys, I would really appreciate if you could switch on your webcams. I mentioned that, I guess, in the WhatsApp group, people who joined from there. So we would really appreciate it, only if you're comfortable, that is. And yeah, so let's just start with it. Prerna, I would like to ask you to talk about anything. Yes, Azuma.
So before beginning, I would like to have this session pretty much around English, so that we would be able to cater this to every student across India.
All right.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
No problem. Yeah, so I'd be sharing the presentation with you all. And in the meantime, Prerna, you could go ahead.
Okay, so hi everyone, this is Prerna. I am hoping that I see a few faces in the workshop, so hoping that you could switch on your video. Now, let's start by talking about thoughts. So, when we say thoughts, they are something that comes to our mind. They are something which we view as an opinion. So, these are the thoughts can be positive or negative. Right now, what I ask of you is to tell me any kind of thoughts that are reoccurrent, that that keep bothering you, that keep occurring repeatedly. So any kind of thoughts that you have a lot, and you can either write it down, because this is an activity which you will see how it ends when the workshop proceeds. So just write down 2 or 3 thoughts that are reoccurrent, no matter if they're positive or negative. And if anyone wants, they can unmute themselves and tell their thoughts here as well, so that we get an insight of what kind of thoughts that are reoccurrent, basically. This is the only criteria to write down the thoughts. So would anyone like to share any thought that keeps coming to them in their mind? Yes, Abhinav.
So it's not like I get either positive or negative thoughts, but I can consider them as a neutral thoughts. Like, for example, I myself a mental health professional, so I can completely understand that I should not mind wander. Rather, I just focus on right now at this moment. But at this moment, I have a thoughts which are of neutral in nature. Like, I just sit around, then I'll be thinking like, what would I do on my system, or else like, is it safe to, to drink the milk? Such kind of thoughts which are just general in nature. Those are the thoughts which always comes into the picture, right?
All right, all right. So basically, these are the thoughts that are kind of fillers in a situation. For example, that
Yes,
keep
yes,
you from
mostly the fillers. Right.
yes, yes. Anyone else would like to share? And I hope that each one of you is writing the thoughts, because this will pay out in the webinar as it proceeds. So even if you're not speaking right now, I am giving you just a minute to write down any thoughts that are reoccurring. Okay, so hoping that you have written down the thoughts, let's start with defining what negative automatic thoughts are. So these are any thoughts that could be conscious or subconscious, and they occur in response to our everyday events. Things keep happening, situation keeps changing, our mind processes it, and then these are the viewpoints that we have. These are the thoughts that are irrational. As the name suggests, these are negative automatic thoughts. They might seem like they are not under control, given the name automatic, and these are irrational and self-defeating. They make us lose our confidence. They make us feel distorted. So, what negative automatic thoughts are, if we try to pay attention to our thoughts, if we try to get to know them, you'll realize that they are not fitting the facts, they are not fitting the reality of the nature. For example, if I say, I'm not fun at all, and this thought might keep occurring every day or every time I go out to meet my friends. But if I check the thought, if I actually see, does it match the reality, that might not be the case. uh, I might be the person who lightens up the party. I might be the person who is just feeling low today, but my previous experiences doesn't validate this thought that I am not fun at all. So these are the thoughts that basically makes us feel worse about ourselves, that are not based on reality. That is how just our mind is making us feel. These are irrational. And the having these thoughts regularly, having a lot of negative automatic thoughts, can lead to depression as well as bipolar disorder, because these are something that our mind is not able to understand. The mind is keep they keep I would say defeating. These thoughts keep us defeating, and then it could lead to depression and bipolar. So it's very important to understand that they can also get overwhelming. You might not be able to be so rational in a situation that you can tell yourself, I was fun at that time, it's just a situational time. These thoughts are so overwhelming that you might not see the brighter side, and you might tend to spiral down. And these are our beliefs of ourselves which are not spoken out loud. These are something that we just keep telling ourselves in our heart, in our mind. Any interview we go through, we'll say, we are not enough for this. We are not well prepared. I might fail. Some other person is better than me. All these thoughts are negative automatic thoughts that just bring you down. So now, Sonali, now Vani would be telling the types of thoughts that they can be identified as.
Okay, hi guys. I thought Prerna would have clearly justified what are negative automatic thoughts. So just before starting with the types, I'm going to talk about something like Prerna said, that if you have this consistency of negative automatic thoughts, that would lead to bipolar and would lead to depression. So that's basically a construct that is called as cognitive distortion thoughts. When you have cognitive disruption thoughts, that actually are the thoughts that are actually biased opinions due to your personality behaviors or due to your surrounding events. But negative automatic thoughts just sums up whenever event is happening in your daily basis. For example, I'll say I'm having a very good day. Okay, a little louder. Okay, if I'm saying I'm having a very good day, but in the end something wrong happens. Like if I wish to eat, if I wish to eat an ice cream and I might not be able to get an ice cream, so I'll think, ki, what a rubbish day. That is basically due to your event you're having that negative thought. So that is okay. In particular situations, we have negative thoughts. But if they advance levels, like if in like normal situations, even if you have those negative biased opinions, like okay, if your mother says that go and buy this thing, but you'll be like, why is she always ordering me? If I go there, something happens. If I'm going to the market, someone will judge me. So these are the biased thoughts, and these are like advanced level of negative automatic thoughts. So that's the difference. So now talking about the types. So first type is mind reading. So as we all know, we tend to mind read people and jump to conclusions. Okay, I do that basically a lot. Basically, mind reading is when you think, okay, I'm thinking this, so the front person will also think this. But the front person is not thinking that. But we tend to seem that. It's basically like you'll think that when we are living in a pandemic, what we do is if we are left on read, for example, if you send an emoji to a person and you're left on read, you tend to think that, okay, maybe I am ignorant, or maybe I am, disturbing that person, maybe I annoy that person. That's why the person is not replying. But if you see that you've texted an emoji, you won't receive a proper text, okay, how are you doing, with an emoji. So you can face that person, okay, I'm sorry for sending an emoji. You can actually like text person back, how are you today? So rather than feeling ignorant or rather than just reading what you think, you can actually change that. Second is guilty thinking. This basically happens when we think, okay, I am worthless and I'm not able to do anything. This is basically same as jumping to conclusions, but it's not at mind reading. Guilty thinking basically happens when you judge yourself according to your past experiences. Like you think if there's a gym person and if he's working out every day, he's into so much fitness, but he's going constantly from a month, but he skipped one day. And if the person think, oh my God, I've skipped one day, I shouldn't have done that. Now my health is going to be bad and I'm not going to able have a good fitness. But that's not it. You're working out 28 days a month. And if you didn't work out 2 days, that won't actually make you fat or that won't actually make you thin. So it's basically, you should not be guilty about anything, because feeling guilty, that can actually lead to a low mood, that you are not able to do things and you add should and shouldn'ts to your life. So rather than that, you can say, okay, I didn't go to the gym today, so I'll work out tomorrow even more. So that what can help you from guilty thinking. Next is fortune telling. So basically, this is my favorite because whenever I feel like I'm having an intuitive thought about something, I used to fortune tell, okay, the person would be doing this from now. But that isn't it. You cannot actually read into future. And what happens is, for example, if I'm feeling anxious about giving an exam today, so what happens is if I'm even prepared, but I'll remember whenever I give my another exam that I was feeling anxious in the previous exam. So what I'll do is I will not be able to concentrate that how much I am actually prepared for giving the exam right now. So I'll think about that. So rather than that, what we can do is we can focus. Okay, we can breathe in and breathe out. We can take a time. before acting out, and you can think, okay, if this happened in the past, this won't be happening today. So what you will do is you will have breathe in and breathe out, and you will think, okay, today I might be able to do this well. I won't be relating it to the past one. I am prepared and I can do this. It's clear up till now. Am I going too fast? Okay. Now the next one I'll be talking about comparisons. Now comparisons is like Indians' favorite thing, you know, like parents compare it to the Sharma ji ka beta, and they'll tell you ki, okay, they're scoring good marks. What about you? You're worth nothing. But people compares you, that won't affect you that much. But when you start comparing yourself to other people, that is actually harming. Your self-esteem is going down because you're comparing. And it's true that you might not be able to be, the best out of it. You cannot be perfect person all the time. Someone is good, someone is going to be better than you. Not today. What we can do is we can actually help ourselves advancing ourselves. But there is a limit to it. Every person has a limit. We cannot compare. If I'm good at singing, I won't compare to a person who's good at dancing, because that's my individuality and that's the person individuality. So rather than thinking about low of myself, I won't be comparing myself. And comparison can actually harm you to the next level, and then actually lead your self-esteem to down, and you won't be having any self-confidence, and that can actually hamper your health. Is it clear? Comparisons. So next I'll be talking about blaming. It's my favorite game, it's just so favorite that blaming is basically when you blame outer person about your situation, or you blame yourself for a situation. That actually happens when you personalize everything. Okay. For example, if I am having a bad day, okay, and then I'll be thinking, okay, yesterday I didn't had my favorite food, my mom like shouted at me, I blamed on my mom that because of her I'm having a bad day. But that's not true. I didn't resolve the conflicts with my mom yesterday, that's why I'm having a bad day. So rather than blaming someone else, or rather than blaming yourself, what you can do is, because if you blame something, that means the situation comprises of two people. What you can do is you can resolve the conflict within yourself. If you didn't resolve it yesterday, you can resolve it today. So rather than blaming and blubbering about things, okay, this is what is happening and this is because of you, and I'm angry, my health is hampering because of you. It's nothing like that. Rather than blaming, we can help ourselves. Okay, maybe I was at mistake and maybe the other person was also at mistake. So I can resolve it and I can move on, rather than thinking about it the whole day and having a bad day. So these were the types. I think everything is clear about the types. So next I would be asking Sonalisha that how you can identify NATs in your daily basis. Sonalisha.
Yeah, hi. Thank you, Vani. I would be talking about how to identify these thoughts, how to identify whether the thoughts that are occurring, they are negative and that they are automatic negative thoughts. So here are some characteristics which is common in all of these negative automatic thoughts. Okay, like even some of the characteristics can also occur, or all of them could be characteristic to a particular thought. The first one is that these thoughts, negative automatic thoughts, they are always negative. As the name suggests, negative automatic thoughts. So they are always negative in the sense the statements, they always have a sense of negation and they are not at all affirmative. They are talking negative about your own self. Okay. So these thoughts, they are always negative. They invoke negative emotions in you and everything is related to negativity only. Again, the second characteristic is that they make you feel bad about yourself. Obviously, if there's some negative thought and if it is directed towards you, would you feel good about it? I won't. So that's another characteristic, that these thoughts, they make you feel bad about yourself. For example, when you say I'm useless, it's a negative thought. And like saying I'm useless, does that make you feel good about yourself? I don't think so. So that's again a characteristic, that these thoughts, they make you feel bad about yourself. Then the third characteristic is that they are self-sabotaging, which means that they hinder you for being your best, for doing your work efficiently or just being a better version of yourself. For example, let's say you're not well prepared for your exams and you say that I'm not well prepared, so I'm going to fail. Just the thought that you're not prepared and that you are going to fail might actually manifest in the upcoming exam. Just the thought that you are going to fail would increase your chances to actually fail the examination. Abhinav, yes, you raised your hand. Is there anything you would like to ask?
Yeah, I want to check, like, if a rumination of thoughts, that means repetition of the same again and again thought, it is something like overthinking, right? That can be also an, identification for the NAT.
Okay, so 1 second, I'll just admit participant. Yeah. Okay, overthinking. See, when we overthink, we tend to ruminate on negative automatic thoughts. That is overthinking. It's like NET is a part of overthinking, but overthinking is not a part of NET. Is it clear, Abhinav?
Yes, got it.
Yeah. Okay. So I was at self-sabotaging. Yeah, so just the mere thought that I'm not well prepared and that I'm going to fail an examination might actually manifest in the upcoming exam, and there would be an increased probability of not performing well in the examination or eventually fail the examination. That's a self-sabotaging behavior because I myself am hindering myself to do well in the examination. Okay. Then next is that these thoughts are uninvited. As the name says, negative automatic thoughts. So obviously these are not something which we look forward to or which is called for. And they just come out of nowhere. They appear out of nowhere. And obviously they are disturbing. That's why you are not really like happy inviting those thoughts. So in that sense, they are uninvited. Then the next characteristic is that they are believable. Why are they believable? First question. Would anyone like to share their opinion or just tell me why are they believable? Why do we believe in these thoughts? Anyone, you may raise your hand or I could just move further. Yes, Swani?
We believe in these thoughts because they make us feel better, because when we have self-doubt and everything, they actually make us feel better and make us believe that this is the reality. So that's what I think.
Okay, Vani, we'll come to that. Yes, Vanita.
I think you're constantly repeating the thought so much, it actually you start to believe that then, I think. Because you're not putting a stop to that.
Exactly, Vanita, exactly. They are believable because we keep telling us the same thing again and again. Also, in the previous example that I'm not well prepared, therefore I'm going to fail. I'm going to fail is the negative automatic thought. But why am I believing in that thought? Because I have something, I have a backstory which is backing up this thought of mine. Why am I thinking this particular way? Because I know that I'm not prepared. And just this fact that I have something to back up these negative thoughts make me believe in this thought better. There's a very high chance that so there's a chance that I might perform poor in the examination, but not necessarily fail. But just the mere fact that I'm not prepared would make me believe in my thought that I'm going to fail. Okay. Then lastly, the last characteristic is that they are biased. Obviously. Okay. Giving you an example here. Okay. Let's say you resign from your current job and you're applying for a new job and you don't get it. You apply for another job, again, you're not selected. So you would, a negative thought appear that you're good for nothing and that you are not going to crack any interview. Forgetting about the fact that in your past, please mute yourself, guys. Yeah. Forgetting about the fact that in your past you had a job and you had cracked an interview, but just because you failed twice, you would be biased towards those two circumstances where you failed, and you would think of yourself as less. Okay, so that's about biasness. Yeah. Okay, so clear. If anyone has a doubt, they may raise their hand. And also Vani and Prerna, please keep a track who is raising their hands. Okay, I'm sharing the PPT, so I might miss them. Yeah. Okay. Now, so as I said in the beginning, that when you are thinking about a particular thought, and if it's a negative automatic thought, so there's a very high chance that it would have all of these characteristics, or at least some of these characteristics. And to explain this point better, I would give you an example, an example. So suppose I had a very bad fight with a friend. We argued, and when I come back home, I'm blaming myself that it's all my fault. So the statement that it's all my fault is the negative automatic thought here. Now looking at it, this statement is negative. So the first characteristic is fulfilled. Why? Because I'm thinking negative about myself. Two of us fought, but I'm blaming it all on myself. So it's negative. Yeah. Then since I'm blaming myself, I'm feeling bad about it. I'm not feeling good about it. And I'm feeling bad about myself and life in general. So that makes the second characteristic valid. Then again, okay. So, and this is some thought which I'm not consciously thinking of it, but it arose because I had an incident. And though I'm not really thinking about that incident, but this thought is just telling me that it's all my fault. Okay. So again, it's uninvited because I don't want to think in that particular way, but it's just happening. Okay. Another characteristic is fulfilled. Then, and maybe I'm believing in this thought. Why? Because I had a fight with a friend and it went really bad. And that's why, okay, I may be at fault, but it's not all my fault. Okay. But right now, when these thoughts are occurring, I'm not really tackling the situation in a rational way. And so I would believe the fact that it's all my fault because I have a story to back it up. So 4 of the characteristics are fulfilled, and then obviously I'd be biased. If I am blaming myself, I'm blaming it all on myself, I am biased. So I might not fight with a friend, with 2 of my friends, but why am I fighting with this particular friend? I won't really think or really approach this in a rational manner, and I would just blame it on myself because I'm biased. I'm biased towards this thought. So that's make it 5 of it. So this particular thought is having 5 of these characteristics, which makes it a negative automatic thought. So this is how you can really identify whether a negative thought which is occurring, it's automatic or not, is rational or irrational or not. Okay, I hope it's clear. Any doubts before moving further? Okay. So why you take it from here?
So now, Alisha, Vanita is asking what examples you gave. She missed those.
When the examples of all of these characteristics, or the major example, the last one that I gave?
I guess she's asking the major example.
So the one you said now that it has all the 5 characteristics of a negative thought. What was the example? I missed in between.
Yeah. Yes, the example is that my internet is unstable. Are you guys able to listen to me?
Yeah, now we can.
Hello, Vani. Yeah, you are able to listen.
Your
to me.
audio is very
So-
clear. Please continue.
Okay, thanks, Azuba. Thanks. Yeah, so the major example was that suppose I had a really bad fight with a friend and I argue with her a lot, and then I come home and think that it's all my fault. Both of us fought, but I blame it all on myself. So that was the example, and it's all my fault is the negative automatic thought here. And you can identify it as negative. You can actually just go through the characteristics and see if they are fitting this particular thought or not. When is it clear? Or I can explain it again in the end if you want.
Yeah, no, it's clear, it's clear.
It's clear. Okay. All right, Vani, please go on.
Okay, so now we'll be talking about how can you help yourself from dealing with gnats. So first is meditation. So how many of you think that meditation is basically sitting in a quiet room and chirping like om for like 1 and 2 hours? You can just raise your hands. How many of you think meditation is that? Okay, I can't see anybody raising their hand.
No, I
So,
don't think it is about sitting and chanting, but I always think it's just used to calm my overwhelmed mind. I have never understood how it can like help me in not thinking negatively in that sense.
okay,
Like I feel I'm much calmer. My breathing will not be heavy, and I will feel a little peaceful. But I didn't understand. I don't see the connect with negative thoughts.
okay. So, how can meditation help you from dealing with negative thoughts? As Vanita said, that it's how she didn't get it, how it is. So, meditation, as I said, it's not about sitting at one place and revising your own thoughts. It's not that. It's basically having a self time. It's about self time. For some people, meditation might be listening to a soothing music. For some people, meditation might be talking to a friend. For some people, meditation might be eating a good food. So, meditation comes in different ways. Meditation is basically when you refrain from everything else around you and just focus on you. That is meditation. When you learn new things about yourself. Meditation is actually a part of self awareness, where okay, when you organize your thoughts, you know better, you can think clearly, you have a rational approach towards life. So that's how meditation can help you by dealing negative automatic thoughts. If something negatively is occurring to you right now, but if you are if you know yourself, and if you know that okay, this is how I will react, so you will have a rational approach towards the situation. So that is basically that meditation can help you in that. So next I would be like, I guess Vanita, now it's like clear a little.
Vani, can I add a point in meditation?
Yeah, sure.
So, Vanita, for example, if you are in a spiral that makes you think that you will not clear the interview, you have gone into a position that tomorrow is your interview, and you are just you are stuck in that loop. When you try meditation, when you try sitting down, first of all, yes, your nerves would be much more calmer. But also, as Vani said, that you approach it into a rational way. You don't know that in meditation you might have an insight that might tell you that no, I don't think I will fail the interview. I think that I will go as with all the preparation that I have done, and I'll just try to give it my best. So that meditation time can give you a lot of insights that you wouldn't have got otherwise, and that insight can help you deal with the negative or break the cycle of negative.
Thanks, Prerna. Okay, next is reframing your thinking. Now see, what happens is when you have these negative thoughts, you cannot control your thoughts, right? Because that is basically a part of your livelihood that you cannot actually control. Yes, true. Okay, so you cannot actually control your thought. What you can do is, like I said, there is a rational approach towards things. Okay, if you're, for example, if you're fighting with a friend right now, okay, and you are just thinking, okay, now she doesn't like me back and she's arguing with me, she doesn't support me, she is not appreciating me, she's not accepting my thoughts. So what you can do is you can take your time out of that situation by typing a simple message that okay, so this is happening, can I take a break from itself, because I might say few words that is not good for you, and it can ruin a relationship or ruin a friendship. So what you can do is refrain yourself from that particular situation for a while. You can think about it, like I talk about meditation. You can add on with it. You can breathe in, breathe out. You can take 2-3 minutes for yourself and revise the situation and approach it a little bit rationally. Now it sounds a very bit cliche that it's easy for me to say it, but see, even I fail at these things. Okay, I don't believe in meditation at all. But what I can do is, like, I actually believe in the second point by approaching things rationally. Whenever I'm in an argument or if I'm in a situation where I cannot do anything else, but the thoughts are occurring and I cannot control them, what I do is I put on my headphones, I put on to a music, and I think, okay, this is a situation. If what is the worst case scenario out of it? This is the worst. So I'll believe in the worst case scenario by approaching with a positive thinking. Okay, if the worst case scenario is this, I can change this, because I know now if this is worst, nothing can happen beyond this. Like, this is the bottom line. So that can help you reframe your thinking from a situation. Any doubts? It's clear? Okay. Okay, yes, Abhinav?
Reframing thinking, right? This can be very much also helpful in, removing that comparison, automatic negative thoughts.
Exactly.
So here recently there is something, there was a research which conducted in which we can reframe the comparisons with the practical comparisons. For example, if a person is earning 80,000 and we cannot compare with that person, rather in case if we compare with the same level of employees, and if we appreciate what we are getting, the better. So that would definitely lead to a better, positive well-being, I would say.
Yeah, that's true. Thank you, Abhinav, for sharing it. So yes, guys, what he said, it's actually nice that you can compare yourself from the people around you who are at your level. Like I said, for example, that if I'm good at singing, I won't compare myself to the person who is good at dancing, because that's not in comparison you can have. So yes, Vanita.
But I think a lot of times, if I'm comparing myself, if I'm a singer and someone is a singer, and I still think, oh, see, that person has got like, I don't know, 5 concerts or shows, and I'm not getting anything here. So, how do you reframe when you're comparing with like to like?
Okay. So when you're comparing, okay, Sonal, you want to take it? Okay, cool.
Yes, exactly. Okay. See, it's just my opinion that we should never compare ourselves with anyone else, but just to ourselves. So, what I was yesterday compared to that person that I am today. It's like compare yourself with your past self. So that will really give you an insight of how much you've grown or not. If you've grown, very good, celebrate your growth. And if you haven't, work on that. Okay. So that's how I approach it. Vani, you can like move ahead with.
Yeah, it was a nice one. Thanks. Okay, Vanita, I hope it's like Sonarisha justified the fact correctly. Okay, so I'll move on to the next one, positive environment. Now, how many of you think that positive environment is just like keep like dodging out the toxic people around you? How many of you think that that is positive environment?
That could
Oh,
be a part of it, but not
yeah.
entirely.
Yeah. So see, basically having a positive environment around you is basically when you actually are positive within yourself. If you have like, there is a perception of people that if you wear black every day, that means you're believing in a dark side, or you have, this is the fact that I have faced, that if I'm wearing black clothes, so my mother say that you look negative today. I mean, that's not it. If I feel positive, so I won't think about it again. So positive environment is basically having things that you like around you, that won't judge you, like having friends who would accept you the way you are, or having things that you like having a good food around you, or having, positive environment can also be when you go and walk into the nature itself. I don't know if that helps you a lot, but it helps me a lot. Whenever I walk on a road covered with trees, or like the rain is pouring down and I'm just walking without thinking anything, that actually brings out the positivity within me, that brings out hope. Okay, if the weather can be so nice, then means the day is also going to be nice. If you have a plate of Maggie to yourself, then you think, okay, my night dinner was very good, and then hence you end your day with a positive thinking, right? So basically, little things in environment, like having a good hair clip today, or wearing a good outfit today, that is also compared to the positive environment around you. If you're feeling confident in that environment, you won't be having any kind of negative thoughts. Am I clear about this? Okay, moving on to practicing gratitude. Now, I know that like basically Indian people, they thank to the God that whatever they have, they're blessed because God gave it to you. But like, if you see it in a way, if you thank to people, you're actually hoping that there are people who are taking care of you, right? There's a person who is blessing you and taking care of you. Like a parents, if you thank them, okay, my mom gifted me a cell phone today, so I'll be thanking her, ki, thank you so much, you gifted me with the cell phone. So I'll be having a good, let's say, the relationship with my mom would be enhancing because I thanked her for something. If you thank people for something, that actually makes the other person good as well, and to you as well. When you thank people, the positive, the positive aroma around you catch around people with like towards you. If I'm having a thankful, like if you thank for what you have today, you won't be having any regrets tomorrow, or you won't be thinking ki, okay, I don't have this. You won't be comparing yourself with anybody if you're thankful enough for what you have. And if you thank yourself today that, okay, this is what I am, and I have built myself today with all these things what I had, that means that you are accepting yourself. And when you accept yourself and when you're aware about yourself, that actually boosts up your self-esteem as well, and your self-confidence as well, and then actually enhance your interpersonal relationships and interpersonal relationships. So I guess a lot of people practice gratitude, like this Buddhist approach towards gratitude is very nice. If you can go online and read it someday, what is Buddhist approach towards gratitude, you would actually find that article very good. So moving towards using affirmations. So I know this is like a lot of people tell you ki if you think positive, everything will end up being positive. Like I'm also talking about, if you think positive, like we say that we shouldn't doubt ourselves. But when you are saying that I'm not doubting myself, you're actually doubting yourself. When you think ki, okay, I'm able to do this, but you still have a question mark in the end. When you say affirmations and you end them with an exclamatory mark rather than a question mark, that is actually the proper affirmations. Like you say that, okay, I'm having an interview. I might not be able to do that well in my interview, but that means I can do I can answer the questions rationally, and I'm sorry, I'm just losing myself a little bit. Sorry for that. Okay. So when you are in an interview, when we say I might be able not to perform that well, and you won't have the fear of getting rejected, or but you can approach towards other companies as well. That means you are having you're now, when you go to another interview, now you're holding an experience of an interview, and now you know that what things can actually help you to do better in that interview. So that is type of you're like using affirmations toward yourself. So I guess that's it from my side, that how can it helps. I know these won't be able to help you, like these are not the like permanent solutions for anybody, right? These are the temporary ones. Yeah, Ambika, journaling does helps dealing with nats, because you are actually organizing your thoughts in a way. But there are few people who just journal everything. Like if this event is happening, they journal everything. But if you journal like what good has happened to you in a day, in the end of the day, that will help you in a better way, rather than just pointing down everything that has happened. If you just point out what good has happened. Yes, Sonali?
No, you completed and then I'll speak.
Okay, well, I guess I'm done. You can speak.
Okay. No, because even I journal. So, Ambika, I can just share my experience with you. So, what I do, I journal things good and bad, but I keep myself only the good things, and the paper in which I wrote all the bad things, I tend to tear it off, flush it, like burn it, and I tend to do that. The motive is, it's like, okay. So I recently learned this in another workshop that I attended. So it's like you clean your home, right? But you don't keep the dust in your house. You just throw it in the dustbin and then you dispose it. So same thing with the journaling. You are journaling your bad thoughts, but if you keep it with yourself, it might not be so effective. So just journal it and let it go. Burning is basically letting go of those thoughts. Okay. Thank you, Ambika. Thank you, Ani.
Ambika is asking something. Decluttering bad thoughts.
Yeah. Decluttering of your bad negative thoughts. But with yourself is cluttering of those.
Now, guys, before like going to the question and answer round, I would like to ask you guys, what do you do if you're having a negative thought? How do you deal with it in your daily basis? Rita, would you like to go?
Well, I try to basically think the opposite of what I'm thinking right now. For example, if I am feeling that I don't have enough social support, then I'll think and try to count, even if I have tiny, like, even if I have 10% of social support, then I would actually require, but I'll try to think of it as no, that is enough. That is enough for my needs. So I try to think the opposite by giving examples of how that is rational, not just thinking that this thought, not just thinking basically. Okay, so just a second. Yeah. So basically giving myself examples of how my opposite thinking is valid. That is what I try to do.
Okay. So people have wrote that they would like to draw or color or listen to music. So we are moving on, like we are done with the delivering part. So what we're going to do is we're going to take up all the questions you have regarding everything we have spoke up till now. So who is taking the question and answer round?
So the three of us,
I can-
anyone who wants to say, yeah. So
Okay, so
Yeah.
I'm just telling the first question that we have is that creating positive environment is creating a positive environment physical.
So it
So
could be both physical as well as internal. Personally, if you feel that creating an internal positive environment is tedious and it requires a lot of effort, start with creating the physical one first. Because when you have the physical one first, you have a sense of like, okay, at least my desk is fine, at least my room is organized. When you see those things, then maybe the internal calm starts to settle, and then when your room is settled, then you can start with thinking about your thoughts. Or for example, if you're feeling that your home is having kind of a negative energy, you step out, you go and sit in a park, you will realize now that your physical environment is set, then you can cater to your internal needs. So start with physical and then the internal environment.
can I say something on this?
Yeah.
Like how many have experienced this? Like you were going to search for something in another room, but when you enter the room, you actually forget what you were searching for. How many have faced that? Right. Because that is basically your environment has changed. The vibe around you has changed. The aroma around you has changed. So that's why, creating a physical environment is important. So I just ended up with that with an example. So, like, any more questions for us?
Also, if there are not more questions at the moment, I would like to just share my experience. How do I deal with NATs or just general? Shall I wait or shall I just move forward?
Yeah, you can share. Till then, if anyone has a question, they can.
Yeah. So all those techniques that Vani talked about, I resort to, let's say, using affirmations, and I really, really do that because I believe how you talk to yourself and how you see yourself, it's really important. How you treat yourself will determine how you would let other people treat you. So if you treat yourself good, if you give all the love and respect that you think you deserve, you wouldn't accept anything less from others, and it would really help you set boundaries and choose your people wisely. Okay, so I do that a lot. And I mean, you could also, it's a small practice. What you can do is just every day in the morning, just stand in front of the mirror and say one good statement about yourself to yourself, basically to the person which is in front of you in the mirror, and that is you only. So you can these are some small steps you could practice. It's just like trusting your thoughts. Yes, so you could just practice this for half a month, let's say, or 20 to 25 days, and I hope you would actually see a change in your thought process, in the way you approach things, let's say, or life in general. Okay, so yeah. Any queries, guys? Or we'll just wrap it up here.
Like, I have a question. Is everybody even listening?
Hey guys, give us a thumbs up if you are listening and if you are with us.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So Chitty is saying yes. Vanita is laughing. Okay. Yeah, I'm glad to see these reactions. People are writing yes. Thank you so much for being with us.
Yes.
Okay,
So if
so I
there
think
is
we
any
can
more question,
basically, if we don't have any question, we can wrap the webinar, right?
sure.
Share your opinion or anything, you can just go ahead. Like, we would be happy to listen to you.
Who are you saying this to?
Actually, by good presentation, we indulge completely. Thank you, Rahul. Okay, Prerna, shall we just wrap it up then?
Yes, yes.
Guys, shall we ask Azuma for her experience that how she deal with gnats?
Yeah, exactly. She's the collaborator.
Yeah.
Before Azuma, before that, so sorry, there's a question. How long
Yes.
does it change to? How long does it take to change the negative habits? As you said, it's a habit. So habits take time to build and to rebuild. So it totally depends on you. It's like if you make a practice to get up early in the morning, it can happen in a week, in a month. It can even take more than a month. So it really happens on you. It really depends on you, and also like it depends on your consistency and your willingness. That's about
Also,
it.
answering this question in a theoretical way, in psychology, we have a tendency from 21 to 34 days that a habit can be changed in 21 to 34 days. So if you're constant enough for 21 days or 34 days, you can actually change it. But that depends how determined you are to change that. So that's
And these have to be consecutive 21 or 34 days that way.
yeah, when you are being consistent, that becomes actually a part of your routine. So you cannot help that. So that is eventually your habit. So, like personality wise, it takes 21 to 34 days, but it depends.
Rahul has said something. When we are in a group discussion with people, sometimes in debate, people together arguments and we feel differ internally. How should we continue with positive way? Okay. So basically, this mostly happens when we are discussing any kind of political view with our friends or any kind of that people we actually care about, but our thoughts are not matching. So in that way, we'll have to understand that they might also be feeling the same way, that that they, I'm not agreeing with them, I might have a different view, but that doesn't define the friendship, that doesn't define the bond. Of course, if it's a thought that is not, I would say, not good for the society, or a thought which is not something that you can disagree upon, then you can think of making a little distance. But if it's just about choices, if it's just about how they would like to do things, then it's okay, let them have their way. And you need to understand that just you cannot be friends with people who you have each thought and each choice matching with. There will be, this world has many kind of different people. We need to know how to stay maybe in harmony with them. So you need to understand that you might temporarily feel little withdrawn from them, or you might not feel like immediately going out and having food with them. Okay, take your time, but it doesn't define the entire friendship of it or the entire connection of with people. So you can just take your time for the time being, and then you can let them have their choices while you get to have your own. So yes.
Just adding on one thing to what Prerna said, even if you are in a situation where people are talking and you don't have a chance to barge in, what you can do is you can actively listen to what they're talking about. Because there would be a certain point in your knowledge if they're talking about a different topic, but you were actively listening. Now you know what the topic is, and you can actually have a judgment about it, and that's how you can barge in, and that's how you can be the part of the group discussion. So yeah, that's it. Azuma, I would really like to know, how do you deal with that? Okay, Azuma.
So,
No, I'm so sorry. There's another chat.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So Rahul has written to Prerna. I remember when I first time stood in front of 500 people for presentation, surprise call by senior. I want to all can give guide what we do. It's big example because surprise without our prior information. Okay. He's saying that a senior of his maybe surprisingly just asked him to stand in front of 500 people and give a presentation, and he just wanted someone to like guide him about it, but then it was a surprise and he had to take it. And yeah, I hope he did well. Okay, Azuma, you may go on, and guys, you can also just put in your queries if there are any. We'll take it, don't worry. Yes, Azuma.
Yeah. So how I handle nats is I see what kind it is. Like, is it to targeting me or is it targeting somebody else? And if it's targeting me, I try to think logically. Like, I can't think logically. I try to think logically and find a way out of it. I try not to blame anyone. That is very much true. I try not to blame anyone. I totally try not to, guilt trip myself or somebody else. But we end up doing it, but I try not to do it. So, and if it is targeting to someone else, I try to think from their point of view, from their shoes, and see, like, I generally believe that there's nothing, world isn't just black and whites but grays. So there's nobody right, nobody wrong, nobody perfect. So we are all imperfectly perfect, or perfectly imperfect. That will work. We're perfectly imperfect, we're not perfect. That is very true. So about what activities I undergo, again, it depends on, I listen to music. It depends on what kind. I want some diversion, I go for it. If I am fine, I just want to go deep into myself, I do some meditation at times. There are few activities that are meditation in itself. Like, for me, painting is a meditation. I call painting is my yoga, since we are yoga people. So yoga encompasses everything. And for me, without having to sit, without having to close my eyes, chant something, or without having to do asanas or breathing exercises, for me, painting is a therapeutic activity to indulge in. And again, when circumstances permit me to do that, I get into painting. And when things don't, I just close my eyes. I try to observe my breathing. When we start to observe our breathing, we go on a subtler level. I generally feel that that way. We try not to think, instead of trying not to think of something and think about it again, we try to focus on something that needs in a different form or a different realm, such as breathing. So I always feel concentrating on our breathing is useful. And again, various activities will help. I think one should always, go forward and think of finding a yoga for themselves, a therapeutic activity that will help them relieve their anxiety or their NATs. So yeah, that's it from my side.
Okay, Vani, so we have a question for you. You can just read it and answer. And after taking these two questions, we'll move on to the next part of the workshop.
Vani, are you here? Yes, she's here. Yes,
Okay, great.
Abhinav, we'll just answer you after Rahul and you. Okay.
Possible, this question is very right that, we get a plenty of thoughts when we are performing at the interview. And we may get some kind of self negative thoughts as well, whether we may get through the job or not, right? So most of the times, the steps, that is like mindset our minds are having, right? That plays a very important role in controlling, managing these automatic negative thoughts in the in the job settings. So we just go to the interview and we'll be writing down, but it is a complete fact, right? We might have always hear about this, that the future is, we are not the one who going to plan the future. We cannot change the past. So right now the present is something like, it's a gift that we need to enjoy. So instead of focusing on whether we pass the recruitment or we fail the recruitment, it is completely to be noted that we need to enjoy the task what we are doing right now. So when a person is running, like, 3-4 people are running in a in a race, in a sprint, and in these 3-4 people, the person who looks at a watch, how much time is left behind, like, that person is going to fail because he just wasted 1 second by looking at the time. So do not just keep on thinking about what is the result maybe, but rather thinking about the task right now, how pleasant it is. In case if I do with my best possibility, I can definitely achieve it. So ultimately, like, having a only positive thought that we can control, but whether we recruit or not, that's not in our hands at the end of the day, right?
Thank you, Abhinav. I think you just responded to Rahul's query, right?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So Vani, would you like to add something? Because this question was personally directed towards you.
Yeah, I know. I guess he's asking me that even though you know that you are able to handle some things, but still that negative thoughts come. See, what I feel is negative thoughts are something that you cannot control. And if you're already facing few responsibilities you have, you might expect the outcome to be like that. For example, if you're sitting in an interview and you know that this job is really necessary for you, and you know that family needs money and you needs money, everyone needs money. So basically, you're feeling anxious about the situation. You're expecting ki, yeah, I'm going to crack this job. So rather than expecting on the thought that okay, these are the responsibility and I have to get this job, what you can like help is you can you can breathe in within the interview itself. First of all, second of all, you can take the time within the interview as all, and then you can see is ki the responsibilities are correct, but there is nothing as you would get the job perfectly or you would answer everything nicely. You cannot feel anxious about the situation that hasn't happened. Your job is going on, your interview is going on, and you're thinking about if I don't get this job, my responsibilities and I would be failing at it. But you are at the interview. So what we can see is we can actually have a little bit, you know, objectivity around you that okay, my interview is still going on. And if I didn't answer the first question due to I was anxious about the situation, but you can take in the time in and you can answer the second question nicely. Like you can take the time and breathe in, not anxiously, but thinking, okay, I have missed one opportunity, but I won't miss the second one. So I guess I made a little bit sense here.
And what I personally do when facing the interviews is I try to think that maybe I will not be clearing this interview. So what next? I try to think if my worst thing happens, so what next? So I, in my mind, start thinking about maybe I'll apply for a couple of few more jobs, or I'll maybe take up an internship till the time I will be getting my job. So I try to plan ahead of what if the worst happens. In case the worst doesn't happen, it's well and good. And in case if it does, I have already given a thought on it. So yes, that is what has worked for me. Yes, Azuma.
So Vanita has said that I feel doing self-care activities that work for you, like meditation, yoga, journaling, will help rewire thoughts in long run. Maybe we are looking for instant results, and I would like to comment on it, which is
Yes.
very true, Vanita. We're looking for instant results, and there's this one thing that we are kept like we keep preaching people, and our faculties, our seniors keep telling us is yoga is not for not only for those who are unhealthy or who are just unhealthy. Like, it is for everyone. It is primarily for healthy individuals to move towards a better self. So I feel that I will not even deny the fact that I can live happily for 365 days a year. There are going to be times where there's going to be a dip. And I feel when there's a dip, there are few activities that we can undergo and help ourselves out of it. But again, when there's a rise, I think that is the time when we are focusing on ourselves and finding, moving towards a better self so that we can handle the next dip in a better way. So I think that is the time we miss because of this fast world. We miss that we don't rewire to ourselves. We don't reconnect to ourselves. I think that is the point we have to focus if we want to prevent a similar one in future. I think focusing on ourselves and working for it. And there's this one philosophy that I usually that I would say which help me or keeps helping me overcome all these things is Stoicism. Stoicism is one, there's a lot many in Stoicism, but this one thing that always tells that we have certain things in control and there are certain things that are not in our control. And the message is to only worry for things that is in my control and to not worry for things that aren't in my control. Raining is not in my control. My health is again not in my control. I was like, health is in my control. Like, as a medical student, I was told like health is in our hands and we have to do healthy living is the one towards better life. But when I read Stoicism, it said health is not in our control. I was like, wait, what? Really? And then I understood, yes, health is again not in my control, but the actions that I do, healthy living, yoga or journaling or reconnecting to myself, those actions are in my control. But again, the result, the health or disease or what happens around me is not in my control. So what actually is in our control is what we do, what can we do, what I do. So focus on it and just worry for, okay, this is in my control, let me do it. And just wait, let things happen, let things roll out on itself. So that's how I felt Stoicism helps me.
Very beautifully said, Azum, and very beautifully introduced the concept of Stoicism. Even I didn't know about it, so it's good to know about it.
It is really
yes,
a good
Vanessa,
one.
you raised your, yeah. I'll give it a read, definitely.
Sure.
Yes, Vanessa, you raised your hand.
No, nothing. I was just writing when you all were speaking, and I was thinking the biggest thing that's happened to all of us is the pandemic, right? And this, which has told us that nothing is really in our control, and we've all still lived a pandemic for a 1.5 year now. So I'm just saying now we should be just prepared for anything is what I was just writing to myself. I mean, all the other things suddenly seem much smaller in that sense. Like we've all adapted to online and not having a job and not able to meet friends and family for 2 years. So उससे बड़ा और क्या होगा? But yeah, interesting seminar. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vanita. And exactly, like, I mean, this pandemic has taken us from us, I mean, a lot. And like, as you said, कि इससे बुरा क्या ही होगा? So it's like, just know that you have and you still are surviving a whole pandemic. And दुनिया खत्म नहीं होती यार, नहीं होती. Like, bad things happen, it goes away, you move on, but life goes on, right? Change is the only constant. Dunya khatam nahi hoti. So anything that happens to you, if it turns out bad, just try to learn from it and try to rectify the mistakes. Try to see where you've gone wrong and which you would be able to handle better in future if that happens again. Just learn from your past. That's the thing. And okay, there's another question from Near. The person
That
has
is
said
not a
that.
question.
Yeah, that is.
He's saying example. Read it carefully.
Near, I'm talking about Near. I'll just read it out. That person is saying how to avoid negative thoughts about the future and whether I'll be successful. That thought often comes to my mind. he wants to stop this particular thought, like about the future and whether they'll be successful. Okay, I think like a lot of people go through the same thought, uncertainty about the future, which is like really prevalent in today's scenario. So again, as Azuma talked about stoicism, some things are in our control and some things ain't in our control. The future, though we are capable and though we are responsible to create the future that we want, but again, not everything would turn out the way you want it to be, right? So just it's like do your deed in the present without thinking too much about the future. What's gonna happen if you do right today? Obviously, it will pay you off later. It will pay you off in the future. So, like here, you gotta think rational. Your future is not control. Is not fully in your control. So why do you have to worry about something which is not fully in your control? But the present, that is in your control. So just work on making your present right. That's how I would approach it personally, and that's, I think, a rational way to approach it. Yes, Neer, I hope it cleared this doubt of yours. एक और है. Yeah, Rahul is saying something. Please, someone read it out.
Okay, before that, let me just add a point to Neer's
Yes.
comment. For what you said, Sonali, I think there's one good book to read, The Power of Now. And I haven't read it, but I've listened to some audio books by Eckhart Tolle. So he talks about this power of now, and after listening to it, I felt I could start living in now. I started to live in now. I won't say I'm completely living in now because it's a process again, but I'm starting to think in that perspective. I still worry about I still think about future, but I don't worry about future. I think about it. I don't worry about it. So living in the now is actually simple, just 3 words. But it is a bigger, I would say, a philosophy to practice on itself. But taking one step closer will help you live a better life, I would say. And I also had to I just watched a video some days back about a domestic abuse survivor. I don't know, I really couldn't put links to it, but there was one person to her at the worst point of her time who said to her, saying, just take one day at a time. Just live one day at a time. And I felt, yeah. And she said it really helped her. And after so many years, when she was in a place and she was stable in her life, and she saw another woman who was similarly like her, she helped her and she said the same advice to her. And I felt like life has come to a full circle. When we are suffering something and we find a way out of it, and we try to live a better life, there will be a point when we will help someone who is facing a similar way out of it. And I think that finding a way out of our problems has 2 reasons. Or why I would want to find reason out of a problem is, 1, I want to come out of it. 2, if I find the right solution that work for me, I can suggest or guide someone out of this too. So these 2 things are the one that motivate me to get up out of the wallow thing and start working. So yeah.
Thanks, Azuma, for sharing. And yeah, before moving further, I would just like say one thing. If you are encountered with a thought, like sit with your thought and challenge it first. Is it even rational? Because most of the thoughts and most of the automatic thoughts, they are irrational. So just challenge your thought first. If it's rational, try to find out the roots. Like what is really making this particular thought occur. Okay, so just challenge it, and if it's rational, just find its roots and then go on finding the solution. And if it's irrational, then obviously you don't really need to think about it that much because it's not really practical or rational. Okay. Yeah, Vani, there's I guess one question which is directed towards you by Rahul. If you could please read it.
Yeah, sure. So he's asking that it's an example that people who are in the hospital and then we are in an office and we are indulged in a prior important work. And the situation is that your boss calls you and says to you that contact the supplier and attend, like, call in no time. And today is the final date bonus for you. If not today, one year negative marketing, marking. And receive call from home. Someone is family, like someone from the family is hospitalized. Biggest negative thought comes for the person's survival in office also. So he's asking me that what can we do in this situation? So see, basically, if I was in the situation now, and what would I have done is I would have called first, like, at my like at my home, and asked that what is the current situation going on in the hospital? Do they really need me or do they not? And if they need me, I would have prioritized my family first rather than my job, and I would have gone there. But if like the people around me can handle the situation for a while, I would have attended my meeting and I would have asked my boss that now that I have done my work, now this is the situation. One of my family members is in the hospital. Can I leave for now? Rather than, as Azuma just said, that we can think about the future and not worry about the future. So you can say you can hope that the person comes out well rather than worrying about it, right? Because you cannot handle the situation, like you cannot treat the person yourself. The person is at the hospital and the person is already getting the best treatments. So that's what I would say. If anybody can, like, would like to add, they can.
Prerna, would you like to add something since you are from the organizational background only? If there's something you would want to add to this.
Well, I think it all depends on the priority, what you want to currently prioritize, and of course, upfront you have to tell your boss or like that this is my situation is currently I won't be available. So you have to be upfront about it, and you have to share that yes, you will be not be available as you have to be in the hospital or as you have family needs, and hoping that any other person on or you could also give the solution to them. For example, you can say to the boss that I will be giving the same task to my colleague and I know that he will be handling it. So I'll just inform him to call the supplier and inform all the details so that I can be at the hospital. So you can give the boss solution in case if he's feeling if you are not there, who will do the work. So you can try doing that. And yes, now I think we can end the question answer session. And Azuma, is there anything else you would like to proceed with the session, or we should end the?
Yeah, I think we've had a great session, I would say, and I've just put in the chat box the stoicism and the author's name, Eckhart Tolle. So people who are interested might do like these two words are, when I heard it, I didn't know the real spelling, so I really had hard time finding it. So yeah, so maybe it might help you. So thank you guys, it was really awesome. It did really take off in a slow way, and then when people started engaging, I would say this is one of the an example of how we say we grow by lifting others. This is a perfect example of that, and I would say, and it was really good to see three of you balancing, having a great understanding between all of you. It was really great. Thank you. I would say on behalf of the audience here, it was really again little bit like talking to a therapist, but on a group discussion. So thank you guys, thank you so much.
Oh my God. Thank you so much, Azuma. Thank you so much for your kind words. And thank you so much for collaborating with us.
Our team is glad.
Yeah, we are grateful. And okay, just a task for all of you. So those of you, I hope you've written, when Prerna asked you to write those negative thoughts, I hope you've written 1 or 2 thoughts. So just go home, and if they are still bothering you, just try to approach it in the way that we have just talked about it. Try to identify them. Firstly, try to categorize them in any of the type that Vani talked about. Then try to identify if it's actually a negative automatic thought. I talked about how to identify it, and then please find a technique or a solution for your own self to try to come out of it. And if you guys would be able to do it successfully, we would be really happy for it and for you guys. So thank you so much. And there's the feedback forms link in the chat box. Please fill it. We will be sharing it in the WhatsApp group as well. And yeah, and if you like this session, please stay tuned to MHAC for more such sessions or events. It would be free of cost. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Vani,
Thank you.
Prerna, would you like to add anything else?
No, just thanking all of the participants to join, and also for engaging us and bearing with us for 1.5 hours. You have been a great audience, everyone. So thank you. Have a good day. And we hope to see you all in our next upcoming workshops as well.
Sure. See you all. Till then, take care, everyone.
Bye-bye, guys. You're free to leave.
Have a nice
Thank
day,
you.
everyone.